Damn it, he's flatlining. McCoy, quickly! Damn it, Jim. I'm a proctologist. I'm not a surgeon. Quick, Miss Lushpussy, the defibrillator. Yes, right away, Dr. Slaughter. Oh, I hope we can save him. Damn it. Come on. Live, damn you. Live! Oh, Doctor, it's a miracle. He's back. Yeah, I kinda got that. Okay, clear up here, guys. Thanks. Well done.
G'day Darkrealmers, it's horror author and illustrator Michael J. Elliott here with you again today, and we have a special appearance by Charlie the Wonder Cat. And if that little intro didn't give you a clue, today's review is to do with a medical horror film, and today we're reviewing Flatliners 2017. Now, Joel Schumacher made the original, or directed the original movie into 1990, and that starred Kiefer Sutherland. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's about a group of doctors led by Kiefer Sutherland, who is fascinated by what lies on the other side, and he gets a group of his doctor friends to help him stop his heart and then bring him back a minute later, and then they all want to try it. And gradually they stop their hearts for longer and longer periods, and when they've gone through all this, they start seeing things, and there's visions, and they start questioning their sanity. Okay, well, 2017 is a new take on the film. Not really that different, except that this time we're dealing with a group of medical students. And before I give you my take on the movie, here's the trailer for you to have a look at.
Relax. Enjoy the experience.
Counting off 60 seconds.
Get her out. Relax. Enjoy the experience.
Okay, Darkrealmers, well, that was very dark. Now, one of the things with remakes, they usually come about because either a director or a screenwriter has an idea for a different take on an old movie, and that could be either that they see the movie going in a different direction than the previous writer or director made, or that they have a U-Boot idea that adds something different to the movie. Now, as I said, this movie deals with medical students. That's primarily the difference in this movie. And the medical student that instigates all this is Courtney, played by Ellen Page. Now, where this movie is a little bit different, Darkrealmers, the Kiefer Sutherland movie deals with sort of questioning your sanity and very much the visions that they see after they come back, and the consequences of their actions. You know, they're all very responsible for what they have done, you know, by crossing that boundary that you're not meant to cross over into on purpose. Now, whereas this is different because the director and the writer have gone for a horror bent where something is following them through reality. Now, as it turns out, they all have secrets, and these secrets they don't reveal to anyone, and they've sort of locked them away, all that sort of thing, Darkrealmers. And this movie tries to come across as, you know, we're all responsible for those mistakes we've made, and we have to fess up to them and you know, make things right. Now, Courtney is responsible for the death of her sister. While they're driving along, she gets distracted and the car goes into a river and her sister drowns. But what she doesn't tell everyone else is that she was actually on her mobile phone, so she is responsible for her sister's death. And she starts seeing her sister in a bathtub. Another one of the characters, a bit of a playboy, you know, a bit of, you know, aren't I hunky, that sort of character, gets a girl pregnant a few years ago and basically leaves her, and he starts hearing babies crying and things like that. Now, what lets the movie down, Darkrealmers, is that it's not really explained what it is they've supposedly brought back with them, you know. And I got very much, while I was watching it, it kept reminding me over and over again of the movie Final Destination. And if you haven't seen that movie, that's basically a film about people who have escaped death, and they were meant to die at a certain time, so now death comes back to you know, claim them in various horrific ways. But where the director and the screenwriter have gone slightly different with this is that when they've gone through their flatlining experience, they all come back slightly different. Now, Courtney is able to play a piece of music that she's never played before, and one of the medical students who sort of isn't really up with his studies and that manages to give a diagnosis no one else thought of and prescribe medication that hadn't even occurred to anyone. Very proactive in that way. So apart from Ray, who is the only one of the group who says, no, this is wrong, you don't do this sort of thing, you don't meddle with it, they all go through experiences like that. But it's not, it doesn't lead anywhere. That sort of, well, why have we been given these gifts, you know, like, and, you know, the gifts that they're given don't sort of continue. We get these, you know, one-off incidences, and it makes you think, oh, and it builds you for something that doesn't really happen. Now, it doesn't really do anything majorly different from Joel Schumacher's 1990 movie, and that movie had its own problems in terms of, you know, there's a lot of complaints about lighting and, you know, some of the staging, but that drew you in because you wanted to know, you know, what is it, why are they experiencing these visions, what have they done, you know, what sort of boundaries have they crossed, you know. Whereas this is almost like, you know, like a supernatural boogeyman type film, you know, where they've all, you know, crossed the line, and you know, the death or an avatar of death or some sort of thing over the other side is now out to get them, and because they haven't you know, fessed up and done the right thing for their mistakes they've made. Now, what made me question the movie was, well, if this supernatural entity knows that these people aren't supposed to be death, and it's just, they've just crossed over into this realm, well, you know, why doesn't it let them go back, and eventually their conscience will sort of prick them enough? But no, it's like, no, they needed this to fully, gee, I've been a really bad person, I need to fix this, you know. And so one by one they confess to each other what they've done. Now, I didn't find it very involving. Now, the scary scenes were quite scary, but they don't come until the last third of the movie, Darkrealmers, and by then your interest is waning a little bit. And I just got the feeling, why did they really need to remake this? Because they didn't explore anything in any great depth, okay? And as I said, I got the feeling it was like a version of, Final Destination, Final Destination medical student, okay? Now, look, if you haven't seen the original Flatliners, if you haven't seen the original Flatliners, you will enjoy this movie. And for those of us who have, you may be disappointed. But it's interesting from a filmmaking point of view to see if you can pick up what the filmmakers were trying to do when they make a remake. Okay, now there's been some great remakes and there's been some absolute stinkers in many and varied genres. Okay, now I don't think this was from the reviews I read, was particularly impressive to moviegoers. I didn't read the critical reviews. And I don't think it did that well at the box office. Even though it's only a couple of years old, I don't think it had enough impetus to really, get bums on seats, Darkrealmers. And the only message, I sort of picked up from it, which I got from the original anyway, do the right thing, and it's never too late to apologise, or what you've done will come and bite you on the bum, as we say here in Australia. So it's not bad. The performances are a little wooden, except for Ellen Page, who plays Courtney, who's the sort of leader of these group of medical students. And surprisingly enough, their doctor who's in charge of their training is none other than Kiefer Sutherland, and it's nice to see him be given this part, but he doesn't have a lot to do, Darkrealmers. I think it's just there to sort of say thanks for the original, basically. So there you go, Darkrealmers. That's my review of Flatliners. Now, you can find it, as you can see here, on DVD, but it's also on Blu-ray, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it on some sort of streaming service if you look for it, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed that review of Flatliners. If you've seen the remake, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, okay? And if you've seen the original too, what did you think? How did you compare the two? Alright then, well, that's it until next time, Darkrealmers. Now, if you're going into hospital and you do flatline, remember what I always say, head towards the light. Okay, bye for now.